come to order. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the regular meeting, which this is, and we have a sign-up sheet if that's something that you wish to do. Mrs. Perry, roll call.
Mr. Simons?
Present.
Mrs. Kessler?
Here.
Mrs. Wider?
Here.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Here.
Mrs. Moore?
Here.
Superintendent Carr, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Card. That was behind you. I need a motion for the approval of agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda. Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Mrs. Petter, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Motion passes. The inspirational message, Mr. Card?
Yes, we are lucky tonight to have Springdale Elementary here. Mrs. Tinsbarge will come forward, and she will tell us all the great things that are going on, and we see some wonderful young people from Springdale, five-star Springdale Elementary.
Thank you. I am the proud principal at Springdale Elementary. My name is Lisa Tenbarge, and our theme of our inspirational message tonight is student voice, student choice. I am pleased to be here with our student council leadership and Mrs. Schutte and Ms. Farwell, who are the sponsors of the student council. We also have our chorale here led by Ms. McGee. We strive to have an inclusive leadership at Springdale, and we're going to highlight some of our leaders right now, starting with Shamar Turner.
Hello everyone, my name is Shamar. I'm excited to talk with you about something very special, the way Springdale Elementary gives every student a voice and a chance to be involved. Our school is built on the idea of being inclusive and making sure everyone has opportunities to share ideas, make decisions, and feel valued. Groups like Student Council and Chorale show how we work together to make Springdale a welcoming and inspiring place for all students. Today, I'll share how these groups help us connect, lead, and make a real difference in our school and community.
Hello, my name is Hayden, and at Springdale Elementary, we focus on creating opportunities for all students to shine. For example, Student Council serves as the voice of the students, representing everyone and working to make our school the best it can be. We vote on fun activities like bringing Kona Ice to school, decide how to use walkathon funds, support staff and students, and choose charities or organizations to give back to, like when we donated $1,000 to Humane Societies. Chorale is another way for students at Springdale to share their voice. Literally, through music, students come together to express themselves and represent our school at events. These groups highlight how we celebrate talents and give everyone a chance to contribute to our school community.
Hello, my name is Genevieve. At Springdale, Student Voice is about making sure every idea is heard. One example is when a fifth grader had the idea to invite the mayor to speak to all of the fifth grade students. This simple idea turned into a school-wide event showing how one voice can make a big impact. Whether it's organizing events, supporting a cause, or bringing creative ideas to life, students at Springdale play an active role in shaping our school. These opportunities empower us to lead and make meaningful changes in our school and beyond.
Hi, my name is Layla. Springdale Elementary is an inclusive school where everyone is welcome and valued. Whether you're part of student council, chorale, or any other group, the goal is to make sure every student has a place to belong and a way to contribute. By working together, we create an environment where everyone's ideas and talents are celebrated, making our school stronger and more connected. At Springdale Elementary, we're proud of how we bring students together to lead, share their voices, and give back to our community. Whether it's through student council, chorale, or everyday classroom activities, we show that every idea matters and every student makes a difference. Thank you for listening, and remember, at Springdale, your voice is always welcome. As a token of our gratitude, we have a small gift for you, a reminder that you truly matter and make a meaningful difference.
Just so you know, our chorale and our student council meet before school, so thank you to all our parents and attendants for getting your students to school to take part in these extracurricular activities. We appreciate your participation. Mrs. McGee also volunteers to run the chorale program before school, and the students audition to become a part of chorale, and they come before school and practice. They perform 2 times a year on the Springdale stage and at 2 community events. At this time, we're going to wrap up our inspirational message with the chorale singing Get Your Winter On.
Look at that.
Wow, these are some nice size
I know.
fifth graders.
This is at elementary.
He's thinking basketball already, and thinking about
Volleyball.
Well, she's not there yet.
I love it. Organized. Organized.
Thank you. Is it different? Okay. It's not going to show up on the screen. Oh, okay. Okay.
Tomorrow,
Trish Roddy, I think's ready.
actually, but we don't have it. I'm gonna get copies of what supposed to be up there.
So after tonight, it'll be public notice.
We approve
Okay.
it. Will I do more?
Okay. Starting tomorrow or tonight.
Maybe even because it's
Good.
we're having technical difficulties.
Video.
Where at? Yes.
Too bad we couldn't get them all to stay. So they could hear things that they miss. Things that they probably should have.
I remember the name.
Okay, Mr. Card, we have a recognition of a Princeton High School 12th grader.
Yes, we have two wonderful young men here tonight, Braylon Davis and Scott Lawson. They have shown remarkable leadership and community and commitment and dedication to service through their Eagle Scout projects, embodying the Scouts' value of giving back and making a positive impact in their community. So first, I want to talk about Braylon. Braylon demonstrated exceptional community spirit through his Eagle Scout project at Just for Kids Learning Center in Woodlawn, donating 75, he is progress focused on enhancing early childhood education, donated 75 to 100 educational items, providing books, coloring books, crayons, puzzles, supporting the center's learning environment, and contributing to the child's cognitive and creative development. In addition to his volunteer and scout work, Braylon participates with the Princeton football team and the esports team, and he is a member of Kappa League. So, Braylon, we're very proud of you. Please come up. I have a certificate for you.
We get one of both of them. We get one of both of them. Well, we're gonna wait for both of them.
We're gonna get up with both.
Next, we have Scott Lawson. Scott completed an impactful community service project in collaboration with MOVE, Motivators of Viking Empowerment, and Coach Arnold Franklin. His project involved building a shed for the Prince Community Garden, which will help properly store garden supplies. The project was carefully planned and executed in 2 phases. On October 21st, that's a nice day, just so you know, Scott and technology teacher Andrew Bridges constructed the wooden base. On November 11th, Scott led a team of 8 scouts and 5 parent volunteers to assemble the shed. The Rotary Club generously donated the shed materials. Scott worked closely with Coach Franklin during the planning stages, addressing all logistical details, including permits, construction methods, and required tools. Scott has been a member of the chess team for the Vikings for 4 years. Scott is also involved in golf, band, jazz, baseball, and academic quiz team. He represents Princeton High School at the Buckeye Boys State last summer. His favorite subject is physics and enjoys video gaming. That's why everywhere I go, I see him, so that's why I know him very well because I see him everywhere. So Scott, come on up.
you off again. I had a lot of forward momentum. So.
I know how it is.
I do them on.
Once you get going.
Because if you want to keep pace. Because
Well, that's very nice. 2 Eagle Scouts. Only had 12 badges though.
Okay, we are at our public comment piece. And we have one person that has signed up. Nikki? Yes. Come on up and to the podium, please. I think you know we're limited to 3 minutes. She's the timekeeper, I'm not, so.
I will track I've got my timer here too, so I'll take it back even by a few seconds, so I make sure that we start together. So, hi, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Nikki Von Stein. Some of you know me, also known as Charlotte or Charlotte Nicole. I have a dance studio in Sharonville. I'm here tonight because I have 4 children who have gone through, well, one who has graduated last year, thank you very much, from Princeton. I have 3 more yet to go through. One is in the middle school, one is a freshman in the high school, and one is in Evendale. We are Sharonville residents, but we are in Evendale because we border so close with our home. My point in being here is the locker situation. I'm sure that some of you are tired of hearing about this, and I apologize to be a thorn in your side, but I will have to continue to do so. I don't come here to advocate for my child. I don't come here to advocate for a neighbor's child. I come here to advocate for all of our Princeton students. You have said multiple times, and even the children said, that this is a very inclusive school. Well, why are we not allowing our children to have the lockers? I am a volunteer of the school district. I have been a volunteer since my senior was in kindergarten. So how many years back? Don't make me do the math right now. I'm not good at quick math. I can do a pot of bore for you, but I can't do that real fast. Anyways, the point being, I have been in both Evendale many years. I have, some of your people have known me to be here. I have been in the middle school many years volunteering for our staff. I've tried to get in the high school, but they won't allow me, even though I put in my volunteer forms for it. I have noticed several things, and the one that irks me the most is the locker situation. You were able to use COVID as the situation as to why you couldn't have lockers. I know that not to be true. Maybe it was at one point in time, but that's not the real reason. And I want an answer, and so do many other parents, to know why our children can't have them. Yes, they have Chromebooks. I'm not a fan of the Chromebooks, but that's for another debate. But one of the reasons that does tie in with the Chromebooks is the fact that our children have no place to store their belongings. It was very cold last week. Both my middle school and my high schooler ride the high school bus. I am privileged. I can take my children to school when it's cold. We got no notification. I'm not pointing fingers. The bus people are short. I get it. We have a wonderful all-call. It should be used. These lockers should be utilized for these children to have coats. You're going to tell me not everybody wears a coat? It doesn't matter. They should have the opportunity. My daughter has menstrual cycles. She needs clothes to change in. You keep saying to put things in their bag, put things in their bag. They're not very heavy. Add the Chromebook plus the water bottles that they use because your water dispensers do not work. And then they spill them on their Chromebooks, and then I have to pay for a new Chromebook. This is getting ridiculous and out of hand. You have a place to put your coat. You have a place to put your belongings. Why aren't our children? I know that there are other situations in the school that need to be addressed, as drugs and weapons and things of that need. But please, we'll get there. But every child is mainly good children, and they all deserve to have a place to put their belongings. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are moving to our consent agenda. And we need an approval of the consent agenda, which requires a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Mrs. Better?
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Motion passes. District business approval of the 2024 November financial report. Mrs. Better.
I move to approve the November 2024 financial report as presented.
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Better now.
You have your financial report in your board packet, in board docs. Just a couple things, of course. I can't not say something. On the monthly financial report, the only thing I really want to draw your eyes to, of course, this is a pretty new report since it's based on the forecast that you just approved in November. This number down here, the 723,000, which appears like we're already off. This is the money that we got from Hamilton County that the auditor refunded to us, and they do it every 6 years. This isn't in the forecast yet. When we update the forecast in January or February, that number will be in there, so this number will look very nice and tidy. The other thing I want to show you, and Mary Cleveland brought it up in a question, is that I think it is important that you pay attention right now to the 2 Red Tree investment reports. We added another Red Tree account. This is the building fund. This is the $22 million from the borrowing. Mary noticed that we had a deduction on that. So the money goes into this investment account. As we spend money on the project, we'll move money out of that account. So as we spend that money, it moves out of there. This account will go to 0 in the next 2 to 3 years as we move through this project, and then it will be closed. The other investment account is the investment account that we've had for many, 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 many years. And the money is going into that account. And then, as we needed an operating fund in our first financial bank account, we transfer it from that investment account into the operating account that we have at First Financial, the liquid account. This one takes a little time to get money in and out of. This is our big investment account. And so then we move money in and out of there, okay? Now remember, we are in deficit spending. We're spending more money now than we're bringing in. Since I've been here 8.5 years, we've only gone to this investment account one time, which was right before the 2019 levy that we passed, okay? We are going to have to take money out of this account more often this year because this is where our savings is. So don't panic. I'm just preparing you. That's what this is for. When we pass the levy next time, this will start to phase up money for a little while, and then as we need it, we spend it out here. This is where we can invest the money in the most favorable way for the district. First Financial has a smaller interest rate. Star Ohio, which is our state fund where all our state money gets in, has a little bit larger interest rate, and then this one has the highest. So just so you know, this is our phasing of our investment plan, okay? You also have your 018 corporate donation fund report and your credit card report. Nothing outlandish to report in either of those, but you do get those every month for your review.
And thank you for
Absolutely.
answering all of my questions.
Absolutely. It was an excellent catch.
Well, just
Exactly.
like, okay,
And
how
I
is the
thought
money coming out of it? What's
the
going on?
perfect time to take a moment and explain these different accounts to you, so you're aware. Okay?
Thank you.
That's the financial report for November.
Mrs. Wider, any question? Mrs. Moore?
No.
No one? Roll?
She answered all mine.
Roll?
Mrs. Cleveland.
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Simons.
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler.
Yes.
Mrs. Wider.
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion for approval of the Sun Life as the stop-loss carrier.
I move to approve Sun Life as Princeton City Schools stop-loss carrier for the medical plan effective January 1, 2025.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded.
The district's self-insured medically, so our plan has insurance on it. When a claim in a calendar year exceeds $175,000, we then have insurance that kicks in, just like most self-insured items. So we bid this out often every year, just depending on what kind of numbers we get. If we can get someone to commit to us for an extended period of time, we take it. Claims are running a little hot right now. Medical costs are increasing a bit. So we saw a little bit of an increase that is already included in the premiums you approved this summer. So this was expected and planned for.
How much money do we save by being self-insured? Rule of thumb, we don't have to go down to the penny.
I don't know that I can put a number on that. What I can tell you is that the district receives very low increases in premium, and that's probably one of the benefits I see. I'll hear about other consortiums that other school districts belong to have been seeing 20 to 30% increases in medical insurance. Our plan is running really well. I think it's managed really well. We have a consultant that helps us with it. And so far, we are staying down. We haven't even, in the union contract, there is the clause, the 7.5%, and then we have to make plan changes. So we're staying under that. So very successful medical plan with very, very good benefit. So there have been no plan changes since I've been here. No copay adjustments, no out-of-pocket, deductible adjustments at all. Very solid medical plan, and I'm gonna knock on wood right now. Now that I've said that publicly. So, but, you know, here's to the continued success of the plan.
Any further questions? Mrs. Perry?
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Motion passes. Approval of an MOU with the City of Wyoming.
I move to approve the MOU with the City of Wyoming, Ohio, as presented.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Who wants to take that one?
I got it. We have a memorandum of understanding MOU with the city of Wyoming, and what it will allow us to do is for our girls lacrosse team, our boys in the spring, and our boys and girls soccer team in the fall to use their fields for practice and possibly games, if the fields are available for the game at the game times. And then also in return, Wyoming will use our gym in Woodline Elementary, and we'll swap those things there. So that's what this is about. Just working with a partner there, or a neighbor, I should say.
I have a question.
Yep.
If they use our gymnasium, wouldn't there have to be someone from our staff to open and close it and to clean up afterwards?
We have the custodial there can work with that
So
as
there
well.
will be a cost. Who's gonna clean it up?
Well-
Will they pay for that cost?
I don't know, we didn't talk about that piece. But just like, I would say we would, just like, and they would when we're there, or vice versa, because we're gonna be using their things as well. You see, we're using their fields, they're gonna use our gym, so, one of us will clean that up either way.
No one has to unlock the field.
Well, I think you may have to get there, you have to have somebody there, so they have a gate, I believe,
Oh,
at
okay.
their fields, at, on Springfield Pike.
So we'll pay for that and they'll pay for us.
Yeah, I will find that out. I didn't have that conversation with anybody. Either way, either we each clean up their own, or they'll clean up what we do, and then we'll clean up what they do, so it'll pretty even
Yeah.
out. If that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
just thought since ours is inside, that's
Mhm.
gonna be an added cost for staff.
Should not be.
Okay.
Any other questions? Mrs. Perry?
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes. And you'll find out the cost.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think there will be any, but I will find out.
Okay, thank you.
Motion passes. Okay. Approval, motion to approve the resolution for TIF agreement with the City of Springdale.
I move to approve the resolution for tax increment financing agreement with the City of Springdale as presented.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. The board's been discussing this with Springdale for quite some time. The board's legal counsel worked with Springdale and their counsel to reach the agreement that the board requested, which is a return to the 51% share with all our abatements.
Thank you for doing that.
Yes.
Any questions? Okay, Ms. Beck.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes. Motion passes. Okay, the next up is the organizational meeting date and time for January 2025.
Ms. D.
Oh, I'm
Item
sorry.
D is in dog.
It's under there. Okay, approval of resolution announcing plan to potential cost reductions, school years 2025, 2026, and 2027. Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Properly moved in second. Who
As you
wants-
know, we've been talking about this for a few meetings here now recently. We've had about 2 or 3, a couple extra meetings to have some conversations around it. As we know, the November 5th levy didn't go the way we wanted to go. We were close, but we didn't get there. So we are doing a resolution so we can approve plan and potential budget cuts, as we're not getting that 10.6 million coming in we would have had. Half of it would have came in January, so we have to do some cuts there. And that's what that is about, the street resolution.
Any questions, anyone?
So the resolution, we're voting on tonight, but we will be sharing with the community. I just want to make sure they're aware. We're going to share with them the detail of what to expect.
Yes, we will get that out. We can talk further about that, how we want to do that, but once it's approved tonight, it will be on board docs tomorrow, go live, and then we may get out some other ways as well. I want to talk to you all about that to see what, I have some ideas, but I want to make sure you're good with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If not, Ms. Better?
Mrs. Whiter?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, now we're on F, which is set the organizational meeting, time and date for January 2025. Need a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
What date?
Do we have a date?
January 6, 2025,
Oh, okay. I just saw a blank in there.
at 6:30, is that correct, Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Any
Was
questions?
there a second?
Yeah, second.
Okay.
Mrs. Petter?
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Whiter?
Yes.
Motion passes. Continuing the budget hearing for January 2025, we need a motion to set the budget meeting.
Same date?
Same date?
Yes.
I move to set the date of the 2025 budget hearing for January 6, 2025 at what time?
6:30.
6 p.m.?
6:30.
6:30. Is that correct?
It will be consecutive to the first reading.
It can be, it's only a few minutes. You could do
Okay.
6:15.
I thought it was like
You could do
6:15.
6:20.
Okay.
I was just reading what's on the
Oh, you saw it on the,
6:15.
no, it doesn't have any times on it. Okay.
I would recommend.
6:15 p.m. I'll just,
page. Okay, we
Shoot
do
for
have a
that.
quorum on 6:15,
Mhm.
perhaps.
yeah.
That'll work.
Ms. Petter?
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
You have a
Miss-
second?
Excuse me. I don't think I do.
You don't
I
have a
was
second.
looking.
I did it
Is there a
first.
second?
Second.
Okay. It's like, before you keep going, Robert rules.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes again. Yes.
Mr. Simons?
Yes?
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Whiter?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes. Sorry about that, but.
The next item is appointment of President Pro Tem for the 2025 organizational meeting.
I nominate myself, President Pro Tem.
Anybody else?
Anybody else interested? Mary?
All right, Second.
Kessler, is there an interest? Mrs. Wider, is there an interest? We have a motion on the table.
I'm good.
And you seconded?
Yeah, okay.
We have a second.
Nobody said they're interested.
Just making sure all members are canvassed. Okay, Liz.
Mr. Simons?
Yes?
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wider?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Motion passes. We move to item 6, discussion. Before we move to item 6, I want to make sure that we are not including Gizmo.
You
Mr.
said
Carr.
what?
From Explore Learning Gizmos.
Was that in the,
Well, it was in my packet.
But
It
was
was
it in the-
outnumbered. It looks like it was eliminated, but I want to make sure.
yeah,
was in
it's
there,
not the
didn't it?
consent, not the consent agenda, so we're okay.
No, it was
So
under
it was
district
taken out?
business.
Oh,
That was one of the things I
Well,
saw.
Well, it was in my staff.
the original.
Oh,
That was
okay.
probably the original, so
It
we're not.
was
I'm
the
just
original,
making
because I
sure
asked
that
the
we don't.
Yeah, we updated
Yeah.
that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't want to have a special
Yes.
meeting over Gizmos.
No.
Okay,
Okay, so we're first reading.
then we're going to item 6, discussion. First reading of the fall 24 board policy updates.
Want to give you some time to look over that. Just a lot of word cleanup, not a lot of major changes, just some language changes. We had a meeting, I think, a couple weeks ago about these things with Neola. So give you some time to look over that. If you have any questions, please email me and then we'll get you the answers. But it's just a lot of word cleanup, nothing major in there at this point, changes.
I just wanted to add, as the representative on the policy committee, it was very interesting hearing the way other school districts around the state are dealing with the cellular telephone allowance and the communication devices. I think we're already on the right track.
Yeah, I think we do a pretty good job with those things. We're going to maybe make some tweaks, but it will be nothing out of the ordinary. What we do, as you know, with our cell phone in the schools, by July, we have to have something. And we have something that fits,
Already.
but we're going to adjust it. We have to add a couple more pieces to it, but we'll be fine.
Yes. And I like what they added as well on artificial intelligence, which is very interesting in that high schools are covering that and having policies on that, just like colleges. So,
Well, as you know, we were one of the first to have a policy. We were ahead of the game a little bit. It's here, it's not going anywhere, as we've heard from our tech director and our new tech director as well. It's here. We probably all use it in some form or fashion, or have somebody who's used it with us, so we want to make sure that we're responsible with it.
General question, and of course you can always defer to Dr. J. Do we use AI in our screening process for hiring?
Not that I'm aware of, not any of the meetings I've been in, so yeah, Dr. says no as well.
Because there's been a lot.
I use it often.
Say again?
I use it often. But
Well, there's a lot of automatic rejections with AI. You don't even get an opportunity for human eyes to look at
Yeah.
the.
And that's why we're going to use it because it's here and it's not going anywhere. But also sometimes the old-fashioned way works as well. So I'm kind of at that age where I'm in the middle with some of that. I'm not all sold on AI, but also know I need to use it, and it's been very beneficial for me in some aspects. So I understand how it is, but I also understand the new generation, they're growing up with it, just like they did other things.
It's going to
that we
continue to
didn't.
evolve to be something more than what it is currently.
Yes.
So that it's only going to get better.
Yes.
I mean, some of the things that it does currently, I would agree with John. We may not want to
Well,
go down that path yet, but in the future, I can see where it's going to be useful in the HR space.
I think it's very important, when you use AI, you need to still check your sources.
Right.
Because there's been times
have
where I've
to.
used it,
You have to.
and I look, and I'm like, that's not right. And I go in and, make adjustments. So it's very important, and we talk to the kids about that as well, and the grown-ups, is, you can use it, make sure you go in and check the sources and things like that, because it's not perfect.
I mean, I always say it's like a dictionary. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to give you information, but you still have to check the source to make sure it's accurate for whatever it is you're doing, so, yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. Would you prefer voice or text or emails for questions about policy updates?
Email would be best probably, just so I have it and I can share with the team if I need to.
Okay.
You mean if we have questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will not have a lot of questions on that, I promise you.
It's all right. But
I was
also
there at the
say,
thing, so
yeah, if you,
Most of them
sometimes when
already.
I will send you all emails, but then I will shoot you a text saying, hey, check that email. I'm on my email all the time, so you
Yeah.
don't have to do that for me, but if you want to, you're always welcome.
Okay, the next part is the treasurer's report, 7A.
Just wanted to report that the audit is well underway for school year. Let's see, that would have been 23-24. The deadline for the audit team to submit to the state is December 31, so we're down to those last few crunch items. I always continue to warn them that when school's out, it's hard to get a hold of a lot of people around the district, so they're working towards a December 20, with the exception of things they need from the treasurer's office. So things are going well. You should all have received an email from Seth Ashley at Milhoff Stang with 5-7 questions, and it's about fraud. So he'll need a few responses from board members to check that one off his list.
When did he send that out?
I haven't seen it,
I
but
feel like it last week. Seth Ashley, Milhoff Stang.
I don't remember seeing it, but I'll look for it.
What was the name of that company, Millhouse?
Milhoff Stang.
Oh, yeah, Millhouse.
This is a 6th audit with them, so. The other item is, I have started working on the reduction list and implementing that into the current forecast. And we'll be sending you scenarios about different amounts that would cover those reductions and how long that levy revenue would last before we would next have to seek additional funds. So I will have that information to you.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Superintendent's report?
Yes. I mentioned our listening sessions coming up in January and February. We will get that out in all our media outlets, social media, email, emails, website, all those things. So be looking for those. And then also, one thing that's coming up, it's a big concert season. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew, tomorrow night, our instrumental Sounds of Music will be doing PHS, Princeton High School. On Wednesday, the 11th, PHS Choral Sounds of the Season. The 12th, PHS Holiday Concert. And then next week, December 17th, Princeton Community Middle School Holiday Choir. The 18th, Princeton Community Middle School Holiday Band. And then on the 19th, Princeton Community Holiday Orchestra. So if you want to come out and see our kids perform, they do a great job doing that. All are in Matthews Auditorium. They all start at 7, and they all are free. Also, we have a lot of athletic things going on. I didn't list all those, but the next couple weeks, there's things, 2 or 3 things every night. So as we lead up to our holiday break. So please come out, support our kids. They do a great job. You know, we want to show them the love we can show them for all their hard work. So.
Thursday, we have the alumni come in to sing with the group.
Acapella?
That has happened in the past, so
Acapella choir.
I haven't verified that with them, but I know last year they
They do it
did.
every year.
So that's Thursday,
Thursday.
in case anybody. is
Holiday
December
concert.
12th.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a beautiful
I'll tell
concert.
my daughters.
I was gonna say, you have some folks in there.
It is really good, so
Yes,
It
it
is,
is.
it is.
I look forward to it.
Is that it, sir?
that's it.
Okay,
Question.
yes.
As we move forward with the levy and cuts and things like that, it's important, I believe, for the public to know that we have a communication plan.
Yes. Ms. Roddy and I are working on that. We have a draft, we have a draft, but we needed all this to get done, and we want to get our meetings, dates scheduled. that will all be in there as well, so,
And there will be focus groups and surveys and reaching out
yep.
to make sure that our public has input.
They'll have plenty of chance to input. They won't give input, they'll have plenty of chances.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 8, executive session to discuss under sections 121.22G1 to consider the employment of public employees, 2 and 8 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. This is better.
Mrs. Kessler?
Yes.
Mrs. Wyder?
Yes.
Mrs. Cleveland?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes?
Mr. Simons?
Yes. We're moving to executive session. There will not be any further action after the executive
So we're
session.
not going to deal with those at all.
Not until then, we're moving to executive session.